launch of blueprint for financial sector development. Alotau death toll stands at 3. And Hekari United edge FC Bougainville.
This is the National EMTV News with Meribah Tulo.
A very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. This is Sunday's news. A blueprint charting the course for Papua New Guinea's financial sector development has been launched. The Financial Sector Development Strategy 2018 to 2030 is the result of a review carried out by the IMF and World Bank into the country's financial system. Progress of the FSDS will be overseen by a newly established council comprising of the Treasury Secretary, Bank of PNG Governor, and Security Exchange Commission Chairman.
The Financial Sector Development Strategy 2018 to 2030 was launched recently. The FSDS, the result of reviews conducted by the International Monetary Fund and World Bank into PNG's financial system. According to Treasurer Charles Abel, the FSDS now provides clear guidelines as to how PNG can grow the financial sector, which has been a challenge over the years.
Government programs must always include an element of how it translates into benefits for ordinary people. But in order for some of those benefits to be available, we need to have some bigger initiatives at the back of them. And part of that is having a properly functioning and regulated financial services sector that enables private sector to function, raise capital, sell shares, get loans, and then how those are also tailored to deliver products for ordinary people.
The Treasurer also hinted at the need for Bank of PNG to improve its oversight role as regulator of the financial industry, especially at a time when new technologies are being utilized to provide access to financial services at all levels of society.
We have challenges in regulating the industry. I mentioned our Securities Commission has to be brought into the umbrella, I suppose, and help us to coordinate the different aspects, the insurance side of it, the capital market, stock exchange, and then the support of the central bank coming in the monetary system and regulating and tying it all together off the back of a good infrastructure platform, and then the availability of new technology, looking at things like blockchain, looking at things at different applications of mobile phone to make those services available.
As the regulator of financial institutions in the country, the Bank of PNG plays a critical role in the implementation of the FSDS. Central Bank Governor Loy Bakani acknowledges the role BPNG must play, especially in regards to protecting consumers from unethical behavior from companies within the financial sector.
So far, we've been working on, providing that services to the consumers, but there has to be some. As part of this reform is to enable also to protect the consumers from all sorts of behaviors by financial institutions or other service providers who are providing financial products. So that's where we address those secrecy issues, unfair treatments of consumers.
Governor Bakani also hinting at new regulations to provide greater protection to PNG consumers. Regulation aimed at ensuring that consumers are not treated unfairly, regulations that may be presented to Parliament later this year.
We're working on a regulation to cover this area and some prudential standards first that will be issued by the bank towards the end of this year, and which will then culminate into a regulation on consumer protection.
One of the two policemen in Port Moresby charged for sexual penetration has been dismissed from the constabulary. Constable Leo Kambao, who was based at the Hola station, was accused of sexually assaulting a female suspect while she was in detention. The alleged incident occurred between the 10th and 12th of this month and was later reported by the victim. After appearing for his first mention, the court found that Kambao had committed a string of offences, and despite him being arrested and charged, no proper disciplinary actions were taken against him. He was released on a 1,000 kina bail, and his case is before the Waigani Committal Court. Authorities in Alotau have confirmed a young mother and her 4-month-old son were burnt alive when criminals set fire to 8 police houses last Wednesday. Their remains were located inside the toilet component of Unit 6 of the police duplex. Since the tragic incident last Wednesday, the death toll now stands at 3.
Alotau MP Charles Abel, who visited the site, was briefed by authorities on the assessment of damage caused. So far, the casualties are 3 deaths reported, 9 houses, including a government vehicle, destroyed by fire, leaving people in Alotau in fear. Though police have sent in reinforcement, the police commissioner says they lack the resources, especially boats, to track down Tommy Baker and his gang of criminals.
Sea piracy is attributed to the fact that police does not have the ability to deal with it down in Alotau. You know, we have a police boat there that's now gone unoperational for almost 6-7 years now.
Tommy Baker is wanted for a string of sea piracy cases resulting in murder and the shooting death of a police officer in 2016. He has been nicknamed the most notorious criminal in the southern region, and despite his apprehension and arrests, he had escaped from the custody of the Correctional Service 3 times. On Friday, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill told Parliament that there are weaknesses in our law and justice system, and the authorities tasked to look after criminals continue to fail their duties. The Prime Minister says he will be speaking to the Police Commissioner to demand police take proactive actions in ensuring the criminals involved are brought to justice. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Police have charged 2 people for being in possession of stolen cartons of cigarettes valued at up to 700,000 kina. Police found 75 cartons of stolen cigarettes in Christine Kamel and Gabriel Bonner's possession at Tokarara in Port Moresby. These stolen cartons of cigarettes were part of the 168 cartons believed to have been stolen from Cholai Wholesale last week. Police officers also retrieved the 75 cartons of stolen cigarettes 2 days after the crime was initially reported. Maprik District in East Sepik Province has initiated a strategy to assist students pay their tuition fees. Despite the government's tuition fee-free policy, Maprik MP John Simon says the district wants students to grow cocoa as security to allow its students to access loans. Maprik District will deposit funding to the National Development Bank, where students will apply for loans under strict guidelines.
The Maprik Development Authority initiated the Cocoa Loan Scheme as a strategy to assist students pay their tuition fees. This will see the district have security deposits in the NDB Bank where students can apply for loan. However, there is a requirement where students must have at least 520 cocoa trees or nearly an hectare of cocoa trees being planted.
We'll give him the loan. We'll assist him to pay his school fees. By June, his parents who are at home will repay the loan after they sell the cocoa.
Many parents, students and stakeholders have questioned the initiative. However, the MP says everyone must work to earn something. He says this will not burden parents when institutions are scheduled to resume classes.
Nothing is free. I want to see the students work hard to earn it. I do not want to see students thinking that they can get free handouts from the member's office. The member's office is not a bank.
Meanwhile, enrollment at the Maprik Resource Center is seeing an increase. Almost all higher learning institutions in the country have courses offered at the campus. The Maprik MP says the district has big plans to improve the literacy rate and raise the level of education.
I want you to be educated. And as long as we are educated and we are back in Maprik, it helps the district. It's better to have an educated population in your district than not to have an educated population in your district.
Since 2013, Maprik District has allocated funding to assist students pay for their school fees. Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
You're watching Sunday's News. We'll be back with more after these messages. Stay tuned.
Share the fun with Big Boy Gum and enjoy the colorful thrill. Flavor, surprise, and chewy excitement. You feel happy, you know you will. Drop some fun, whether you're old or young, yeah. On everyone.
At IPI Catering, we understand the intricacies of the environments in which we work, providing innovative, fresh and creative catering solutions. Our experience and commitment is a winning combination, delivering great food anywhere and anytime. IPI Catering, part of the IPI group of companies.
In our harsh and vibrant landscape, Dulux Weather Shield is the perfect choice to protect your building against everything Mother Nature throws at it. Worth doing, worth Dulux.
At Colgate, we believe every child has the right to a healthy, bright smile. We educate children through Colgate's Bright Smiles, Bright Futures program by providing children, teachers, and families with the tools to make good oral health a lifelong habit. Each year, Colgate reaches over 450,000 children in PNG with this program. We are dedicated to turning the bright smiles of today into the bright futures of tomorrow. Together, let's keep PNG smiling.
The Jumbo Stocktake sale is on now. PNG's biggest sale of the year, and it's on throughout January. Grab yourself savings so big you won't believe your eyes. So bag yourself a bumper bargain before they disappear. The Jumbo Stocktake sale at Brian Bell Home Centers. Sale is on now.
Women's Will is a program which advocates strongly for women here within Papua New Guinea.
Welcome back to the news. In Parliament this week, Kairukuhiri MP Peter Isuaimo appealed for the quick release of district funds held by Finance Department after an error in payment. MP Isuaimo called on Finance Minister James Marape to fast-track the release of about 5.3 million kina belonging to Kairukuhiri district. Isuaimo says if the funds are made available, relief and other assistance should be carried out by the district to areas affected by recent bad weather.
For almost a month, Central Province and parts of NCD have experienced torrential rain. Kairukuhiri is one district badly affected. During the question without notice session, Kairukuhiri MP queried the funds withheld by the Finance Department.
To this day, our people are still waiting because as you all fly in, you will understand my electorate's under flood, and I need to attend to my people.
It's been a costly and tiring mission by officers from the Kairukuhiri district to monitor proper processes followed so these constitutional funds are made available. For the district DDA, addressing disaster-affected areas will entirely need better financial support.
Can the Minister assure my people of Kairukuhiri that this money, which has now been recalled to Waigani from Magarima District Treasury Operating Account, would be paid to my district treasury operating account as it rightly belongs to them?
There are about 4 different checks withheld by Finance Department. For a 1.9 million, clearance was given on December 12, 2018. However, actual money has not been released.
Where my officers have been following up to Finance Office all this time. So can the Minister tell us exactly where the checks are, because the clearance letter is dated the 13th of December.
Finance Minister James Marape did not say much but will be presenting his findings in the next session.
I will report back to him and in due course, Mr. Speaker, and I apologize sincerely for the misconvenience. I beg a pardon, inconvenience we've caused this district and its people, and I undertake to ensure that such mistakes are not repeated into the future.
Total outstanding funds is nearly 5.3 million kina. Jack Lopava Jr., National MTV News.
Also this week in Parliament, the online selection process and its accessibility was queried, with Nawai MP Kennedy Wenge asking if students in remote schools would be able to go online and apply on time. A supplementary question also followed from Medang MP Brian Kramer.
What actions is the department taking to address them? Does the department aware of certain students from high schools who did perform extremely well but did not apply? Therefore, they can be contacted and understand what was the circumstances that they did not apply for a tertiary position.
Long department lomi, it go all gara national high schools, all gara. Now, me teach him all, and they all understand. And this like one school only go na, one school only miss him out. All gara school only survey long, only apply long.
The Northern and Milne Bay Mission of the Seventh-day Adventist Church launched its Appeal for Mission program today. The Appeal for Mission is a master plan on agriculture development, focusing mainly on the spice industry in the Northern and Milne Bay provinces.
The launching started off with a special dedication ceremony. The mission aims to establish a strong stakeholders partnership which can pave way for some of the government programs to be carried out. According to the board chairman, this can also create new opportunities for commodity markets in the country and region.
In the process of so doing, we would want to establish partnerships with a lot of stakeholder partners on the ground, including established systems of government where we can be able to develop stronger partnerships where collectively we can all be able to support the mission of this foundation, and also taking into consideration government priorities where we can be able to implement some of the key government programs.
The Northern and Milne Bay Appeal for Mission program is an initiative of a private-public partnership of the SDA Church and the government. The mission plan aims to empower the people of Northern and Milne Bay province to become agents of change in the agriculture sector and also in their communities and churches as well.
This is some of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Milne Bay and Oro province that aims to develop livelihood opportunities for Adventist members and also non-Adventist members in communities where they are able to participate in agriculture programs to develop sustainable livelihoods where they can be able to meet their own household, community and district needs.
President of the NMSDA Mission Program said the vision of the program is to share equity for a sustainable future targeting the rural population.
Provinces that are under us, that's Northern and Milne Bay Mission. The vision of the foundation is shared equity for a sustainable future, and we'd like to encourage our rural people and everyone else to be partners with the government, share the equity so that we can all participate in the building of the economy of this country. So our target audience is basically the rural population who are most times missed out in the privileges and opportunities and services, if you like. And so we are targeting that sector of the population. So we hope that through this program, we can be able to empower our local people, and particularly the rural ones, that they too may be able to be partners in the development of this nation, and particularly the economy.
Meanwhile, the One Boy Import-Export Service, a service provider of the PNG spice industry, is ready to willingly render expertise through provision of quality vanilla trainings and market development to rural members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church of Northern and Milne Bay Province. Amanda Remo, National EMTV News.
From one small table to now a shop and other growing businesses, Jokuma trading owner Wilfred Mapat says self-determination is key to growing the informal sector. Mapat says if foreigners can venture into bigger businesses, locals do not have any excuses not to succeed in the informal sector. Mapat and his wife Esther were the first street vendors in Maprik Station.
Well before the first Asian nationals established businesses in Maprik, Wilfred and his wife Esther started selling imported items in the late 1990s. 10 years after that, Wilfred acquired a piece of land and built the first shop. For Wilfred, the drive to be successful in any business is
Me sabi Billy Plomiet. Na me like him, you two, one man marry.
No can look when them can sawe, when them can color skin man come inside. You must get believe like you yet. You believe like you yet, you can come up one black man or say me.
2 decades gone, Maprik is now a growing town with high cash flow week in, week out. Cocoa and vanilla are the 2 main cash crops, not just in Maprik but nearby districts of East and West Sepik. About 1 million kina is circulated on the streets when price tags are high.
Yeah, planting needs the place. I'm so when I can something the place. Even working house, good house, permanent or I'm carrying water. Planting good something and one day come and help me man the place.
Now there are more than 50 street vendors in Maprik alone. From small goods to clothes, a variety of imported products are sold daily. Wangi Kimdu is one who sells customized Sepik print shirts.
This la misali mosem long 30 kina.
For Wilfred Mapat, anyone can be successful if there is commitment.
So encouragement from yourself. Believe like you yet. Always believe in yourself. Don't believe in me. Don't believe in one man. Believe like you yet.
Jack Lopava Jr., National EMTV News.
And with the growth in businesses and the agriculture boom in Maprik district, the local MP wants policemen stationed there. Maprik MP John Simon says less than 20 regular police officers serve the district, and that is not enough to maintain law and order. He urged the police hierarchy to recruit and allocate more police officers to Maprik district.
And when people from Wiwe coming up to Maprik, they have to bring their own police force. It's better that way. And Maprik, I have less than 20 policemen. We've done the days with the hygiene. We need a mobile squad to be based in Maprik, so it looks up the law and order. We need stronger, younger policemen in Maprik nowadays. Because Maprik is not just Maprik. Maprik is Sepik Central.
On the 16th of January, a story was broadcast regarding the confiscation of sex enhancement products by the Office of Censorship. In that story, several images were used of previous outreach programs by the Office of Censorship and PNG Customs Services. Among these, an image of Theresa Meki, which was used without her consent. The error in editing is regrettable, and MTV would like to apologize to Ms. Meki for this error. You're watching Sunday's News. When we come back, stories making headlines in the region and overseas. Stay tuned.
Kids, it's time to go back to school.
Go back to school with great deals from Theodist. Buy one backpack and get the second one at 50% off. Also offering 20% off on all Diodora school shoes. Spend 120 and receive a 10 kina free gift card. But that's not all. Buy a HP laptop and get a wireless printer plus a 50 kina gift card free. So what are you waiting for?
Theodist, for all your school stationery.
Are you serious? Is this the fastest you can go? Get out of here. Internet speed with Telecom PNG. I repeat, Telecom PNG is the fastest. The fastest here in PNG. So connect today to experience the difference. Telecom PNG, always there.
Come on and get down to the MEGA Randall Group Warehouse Sale. MEGA with crazy prices, all stock must go, and it's on at the Home Center Gordon's, you know. Come on down to the Bougainville Group Mega Warehouse Sale with crazy bargains to be had from the 19th of Jan to the 3rd of Feb. It's all happening at the warehouse behind Bougainville Home Center's Gordon's. Follow the signs and come on and get down to the MEGA Bougainville Group Warehouse Sale. MEGA.
At Colgate, we believe every child has the right to a healthy, bright smile. We educate children through Colgate's Bright Smiles, Bright Futures program by providing children, teachers, and families with the tools to make good oral health a lifelong habit. Each year, Colgate reaches over 450,000 children in PNG with this program. We are dedicated to turning the bright smiles of today into the bright futures of tomorrow. Together, let's keep PNG smiling.
Bright smiles, bright futures.
Introducing Mosin Fresh Noodles.
Raspberry,
Pineapple,
calamansi, orange,
lemon,
lime, mango, and cola.
Mosin Fresh Noodles. Proudly manufactured and distributed by BTC Industries.
We are back.
Welcome back to National EMTV News. Turning to the region now, there's a world-first experiment underway in Vanuatu, where the Australian government's funding a program to deliver vaccines into remote villages using drones. It's hoped the technology will increase immunization rates in a nation where around 1 in 5 children are missing out.
Drone lands in the tiny village of South River with a precious cargo. Like all children, babies and toddlers here need to get their shots. But like many villages in Vanuatu, South River is remote. You reach it by air, then road, and finally a 2-hour spine-jolting boat trip along the island's rugged coast.
Many of the communities in Vanuatu on larger islands such as Eromango are quite isolated, small pockets of communities here and there with no access to roads, perhaps with no access to telecommunication.
But the drone developed by Australian company Swoop Aero reaches speeds of over 100 kilometres an hour and makes the same journey in 20 minutes flat.
So it's this frontier technology that has been in development for a number of years, and it's now finally at the point where it can become sustainable to actually begin delivering service with them.
Nestled inside, a measles and rubella vaccine for 1-year-old Nolene, kept cold in an esky, saving her mother Sarah a long and arduous walk to reach Eramango's largest village to see a nurse.
Before the drones came, I would have to walk for 1 or 2 days to take our babies to the bigger village.
I think it was a world first, the first baby to receive a vaccine by drone delivery. So it's definitely something I wasn't expecting to see here in the Pacific Islands, and it's really great to see this technology being trialled here.
There's something slightly surreal about watching a sophisticated machine like a drone drop into somewhere as remote as South River, which has little contact with the outside world. But the government of Vanuatu is enthusiastic about the technology and believes that it could be used to deliver more than just vaccines in the future.
In a place like this in South River, is that when it comes, for example, to election time, ballot papers need to be dispatched to all communities.
At the moment, this is just a trial. What's being tested is whether this radical new solution is cost-effective and whether it can be scaled up.
300 people are feared to have died after a huge mudslide engulfed workers at a mine in the south of Brazil. Rescue workers say there is little hope of finding more survivors. The miners were eating lunch in a canteen when a dam built to retain millions of tons of mining waste gave way.
There were some lucky ones, like this woman, clearly exhausted and relieved to be alive. Authorities say now there's less hope of finding survivors. The desperation at this center, where families await any news of their loved ones, is unrelenting. This man's brother had started working at the mine only a month ago and is now among those missing.
I don't think there is any hope. They will hardly be able to find any bodies there. Many won't have their children, parents, brothers to bury. That's the reality.
The dam above the mine held back 10 million cubic meters of residue from previous iron ore extraction. It collapsed as hundreds of workers of mining giant Vale were having lunch in the cafeteria.
This used to be a river and there used to be a bridge there, but everything has been engulfed by the sea of sludge.
The company says what caused the collapse is still unclear, but the damage is visible everywhere, as President Jair Bolsonaro could see for himself as he flew over the area. The government set up a crisis cabinet to respond. The tragedy comes just 3 years after another dam operated by the same company in the same state collapsed, killing 19 people. It was the worst environmental disaster in Brazilian history. With Brumadinho's Paraupeba River now engulfed in mining waste and hundreds of families in mourning, city residents and the whole country are asking how this was allowed to happen again.
The heat has turned up on Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro. The U.S. is calling for the UN Security Council to force him to step down. It comes as thousands of Venezuelans continue to flee to Colombia to escape the economic collapse.
They gathered in emergency session at the UN as the crisis in Venezuela turns into an international heavyweight showdown. America in one corner, backing the forces opposed to President Nicolas Maduro.
Now it's time for every other nation to pick a side. No more delays, no more games. Either you stand with the forces of freedom, or you're in league with Maduro and his mayhem.
But the president shows no signs of standing aside and accuses the Trump administration and its Secretary of State of staging a coup.
Ahí salió Mike Pompeo ayer.
Mike Pompeo says that he has $20 million for humanitarian aid for the new interim government. I say that's cheap for a coup, $20 million.
Russia very much supporting Venezuela's president.
If anything does represent a threat to peace, it is the shameless and aggressive actions of the United States and their allies aimed at the ouster of the legitimately elected president of Venezuela.
Over recent days in Caracas, running battles have broken out between protesters and Venezuela's heavily armed security forces. But for the most part, demonstrations have been peaceful, with huge numbers of people demanding the president step down and that the country's dizzying hyperinflation comes to an end. The opposition leader, Juan Guaido, has declared himself the country's new president after recent elections that were widely viewed as not having been either free or fair. Several countries, including the US, have already backed him. Britain is among the European countries saying they'll also recognize him as interim leader if President Maduro doesn't soon announce fresh elections.
A government-appointed human rights group in Zimbabwe is accusing soldiers of using systematic torture in a crackdown on protesters. Unrest broke out more than a week ago after a sharp rise in fuel prices.
Angry protesters took to the streets when the price of petrol more than doubled to $4.50 a litre, costing more than anywhere else in the world. Police fired live ammunition and soldiers rounded up civilians, arresting hundreds.
It's very unfortunate and very tragic that we are back to the past. The most important point right now is the stopping of harassment, mass arrests of people who did not commit any crime.
The government wouldn't apologise, blaming the demonstrators for the violence. President Emerson Mnangagwa was 8,000 kilometres away, talking about diamond deals with President Vladimir Putin and Russian investment in oil and gas. But the Zimbabwean leader cancelled his trip to the Davos Economic Summit under pressure to return home.
Our people should concentrate in doing their work. The thrust is economic development. We must grow our economy. We want peace. We want unity among our people.
Now security forces are accused by the government-appointed Human Rights Commission of using systematic torture. It says armed soldiers and police visited homes at night, forcing people outside and beating them indiscriminately.
They would then beat up all the men, including boys as young as 11 years.
The government crackdown is ongoing, despite promises from the president to investigate his own security forces. Frustration is growing among the people who believe things would get better here after Robert Mugabe was ousted. But the chronic shortages of fuel, food and medicine are just getting worse.
An Israeli exchange student, Aya Mazawi, who was killed in Melbourne, has been laid to rest in her hometown. Thousands marched as her casket was carried through the streets. Her family thanked Australians for their support and said they were deeply touched by the response to her death.
This is not how any parent wants their child to come home.
Aya Masawi's body was taken to her mother and sisters for a short final goodbye. Then it was her community's turn. Shops closed and streets were blocked off so the residents of this Arab-Israeli town could carry Aya Masawi's remains to the mosque for prayers.
I mean, everybody's here. This village only has a couple of thousand people, so it's really incredible. We're so grateful as a family. We're very thankful for everybody being here in support.
Support and sympathy for the family was everywhere. This town was proud of Aya Masawi, a prize-winning student who will clearly be missed.
She smiled, and she's positive, and she wants to help all the people and to support all the people, and she wants to see the world is beautiful and the life is beautiful.
Aya Masawi was on a student exchange in Melbourne from her university in Shanghai. She told her family she was loving life in Australia.
I know the end was very, very big tragedy and very big trouble for us. But really, I appreciate the beautiful 5 months she have do in Australia.
Aya Masawi lived an international life, and her death evoked sympathy from around the world. Her family say they're deeply thankful for the support they've received from Australia, and particularly from the community in Melbourne. Aya Masawi's family will now spend 3 days in mourning in accordance with Islamic custom.
You're watching National EMTV News this Sunday. We go for a break now. We'll return with some sporting updates in Trukai Sports.
Share the fun with Big Boy Gum and enjoy the colorful thrill. Flavor, surprise, and chewy excitement. You feel happy, you know you will. Drop some fun, old or young, yeah. On everyone, go Big Boy Bubble Gum.
Public awareness from IRC, payment due dates for goods and services tax, 21st of the month. Salary and wages tax, 7th of the month. Company income tax, 30 days after notice of assessment. Personal income tax, 30 days after notice of assessment. Stamp duty due on assessment are the withholding taxes on declaration.
Lodge appropriate tax return which is also due on the due date as the payment date. Payment methods include FPOS. All bank debit cards are accepted at FPOS terminals at our regional centers and provincial offices. Credit cards are not accepted. Bill pay. IRC bill and name is Internal Revenue Commission, code 11628. EFT direct payment. Bank credit transfer application, bank check, bank draft. IRC is no longer accepting personal company check payments. You must include your TIN and name, tax being paid, tax period, payment date and amount, your electronic payment receipt. For more information on making tax payments or to obtain copies of your receipts, call 322-6548 or 322-6773 or visit www.irc.gov.pg.
This message is authorized by the Commissioner General, IRC.
Introducing Mosin Fresh Noodles.
Raspberry,
Pineapple,
calamansi, orange,
lemon,
lime, mango, and cola.
Mosin Fresh Noodles. Proudly manufactured and distributed by BTC Industries.
Introducing the new Tisa Umicard for members. Call into your local branch and complete a Umicard account application. Tisa Umicard is so convenient. Now you can purchase goods and withdraw cash from BSP FPOS and ATM machines in PNG. Pay for school fees. Pay medical bills. In fact, anything you need where debit cards are accepted.
Tisa Savings and Loan Society.
Taste of PNG. In addition to Papua New Guineans' love for food, with curiosity for cultural signature dishes and international cuisine. Top it up for tasty, vibrant, quick and easy meals to cook and enjoy. Taste of PNG will help bring family celebrations, feasts and gatherings more fun. Taste of PNG, returning soon to MTV.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. We begin with the NSL, the main game in the opening round of the National Soccer League competition. Southern Conference saw a spirited FC Bougainville lose to competition favourites Hekari United 1-0. Fidelis Sukina with the details.
The breeze picked up. The crowd anticipated an entertaining match, and the match did not disappoint. FC Bougainville in green braved the red and white striped giants Hekari FC, but it was Hekari that won 1-0 in a match that had the crowd in a frenzy. Hekari closed in on FC Bougainville, numbering in defense early on in the first half. Hekari strikers brothers Ati Kepo and Kolu Kepo threatening the goal mount. But it was striker John Philip who scored. FC Bougainville striker Patrick Isa looked promising but was closely guarded by the Hekari's backline. But there was more than enough attempts at goal by both teams. FC Bougainville keeper Luke Kaprangi Jr. stopping a few of those shots. The second half saw a lift in the game, but not without any casualties. A few yellow cards, 5 in total given out during the match. The experienced David Muta not at his best. Kaprangi jumping onto Muta's kick with a simple dive. His opposite, Hekari keeper Ismail Pole, tested with kicks, just shaving the uprights. A corner kick by FC Bougainville Anil Passam left to Pole to deal with after no Bougainville head was laid onto it. It was their first match of the season with a positive outcome for Hekari going up 1-0 victors. But it has given both teams a chance to see their pros and cons early on in the season. Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV Sports.
Still on the NSL and 2 other results from Saturday in the Southern Conference, PRK Gulf Komara and Central United ended their match in a 1-1 draw, while POM United secured their first win, defeating Eastern Stars 2-1. Today's match saw Southern Strikers beat Star Mountain 2-1 to conclude round 1 of the Southern Conference in the National Soccer League. The Rugby League now whole off-season Rugby League competition is keeping youth in the area busy. While teams in the competition also come from other parts of the city, organisers say petty crimes and other social issues in Hohola have been greatly reduced during the competition period.
The Hohola off-season has been played for more than 2 decades. Community leaders in the area say more youths are taking part in keeping them off criminal activities. But over time, and with rugby league being a popular and #1 sport loved by many, youths in the other parts of the cities started affiliating to be part of the Hohola off-season rugby league competition. Today it is still the same story. With increased crimes in the city, competition organisers say providing such platforms may not be the solution to solving crimes and illegal activities, but believe it may change the attitude of many young youths.
Like Ben Speak, Ola 2, Ola 5, plenty all. Yeah, plenty all. It's like an illegal activities that come up. Game come up time. Like all who himself passing no good. All can play like every weekend, like every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Time block is also talk. So now like game on time, all busy training, na play. So like all I'm peaceful now. So now people can look around something.
The competition has helped a lot of young men in the past, but not only that, it showed many players other pathway opportunities as well as continuing to playing in national rugby league competitions such as the Ipatas Cup and Digicel Cup.
Like all of the season got Mark Blangema and been producing plenty of good player finish open goal like Stakorame and Roger Laka, now President Blangemiet, plenty of stuff. So like yeah, plenty of youth looking like yeah, all can play time or like come up with some also like all be any footstep role. So Roger met come back and start was president or looking him like emotion role model blower. So yeah.
Meanwhile, Hohola off-season rugby league competition will witness its 11th round next week before top 8 teams prepare to go into semis and grand final. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
We go for a quick break and be back with more of Trukai Sports after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
At Colgate, we believe every child has the right to a healthy, bright smile. We educate children through Colgate's Bright Smiles, Bright Futures program by providing children, teachers, and families with the tools to make good oral health a lifelong habit. Each year, Colgate reaches over 450,000 children in PNG with this program. We are dedicated to turning the bright smiles of today into the bright futures of tomorrow. Together, let's keep PNG smiling.
The Jumbo Stock Take sale is on now. PNG's biggest sale of the year, and it's on throughout January. Grab yourself savings so big you won't believe your eyes. So bag yourself a bumper bargain before they disappear. The Jumbo Stock Take sale at Brian Bell Home Centers. Sale is on now.
Introducing most fresh noodles.
Raspberry,
Pineapple,
calamansi, orange,
lemon,
lime, mango, and cola.
most fresh noodles. Proudly manufactured and distributed by BTC Industries.
Technology is constantly evolving, creating opportunities to grow and connect globally. Telecom PNG provides you with the best innovative and flexible solutions. Our wide-ranging product portfolio includes fixed line business system, fixed broadband internet service, Metro Fiber network, VSAT service.
You can trust us to take care of your business solution needs.
Telecom PNG, always there.
I love the way you taste.
I love the easy meal.
I love family dinner time.
I love my true guy.
I love the quality. I love the yummy smell.
I love the energy and strength.
I love my true kind.
So many reasons, all of us agreeing. So put on your t-shirts and let's all sing.
I love my true guy.
I love my true guy.
I love my true guy.
Let's sing it again. I love my true guy.
I love my true guy.
I love my true guy. PNG's rice, the very best rice, 'cause we all love a true guy.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. For the second World Series tournament in a row, the All Black Sevens team have been stunned by USA in the semi-finals, this time in Hamilton. It now places the US on to their first ever Cup final. The result is even more remarkable given the Americans were missing their biggest star.
Perhaps feeling the pressure to chase a first home tournament win since 2016, the All Black Sevens quickly found themselves on the back foot.
That's an awful pass.
Their start was loose and the US made them pay.
And they go to the short side. Hughes trying to get it down. He's over.
But just when the Kiwis needed a reply,
Almost a chance of an intercept. It is.
Regan Ware the hero as New Zealand went 2 points ahead. His hard work undone moments later though, Villamoni Koroi's yellow card letting the Americans back in.
Here's the chance now. It's a try.
And any chance of a comeback ended with just seconds remaining.
Spots a hole. Counter rolls. Puts his foot down. And the USA are into the final.
17 points to 7. Carlin Isles is now the main strike weapon in the absence of the injured Perry Baker. And he'll need to be at his best in the final against Fiji, who left the South Africans in their wake. 29 points to 7, Fiji into their third straight Cup final here, and with all the support needed for a fifth title.
And despite the US making it to the finals of the HSBC Hamilton Sevens, it wasn't enough to get past Fiji in the final. Fiji proving too strong with a final score of 38-0. Here are the highlights.
The side have been so inevitable, but they're up against an American team that will bow to no one. They took the loss of their ace attacker, Perry Baker, in their stride when he went down early on day one. Ripped away by Fiji. They look out here. They come. Time over. Striding away with a so multifaceted, these Fiji players. Ball in hand, on defence, at ruck time. Tuwai, he's the orchestrator. Oh, that's genius. That is genius. Malduva the try. But give it all to Jerry Tuwai. Will celebrate with them.
To tennis now, it has been described as one of the greatest Grand Slam final slugfests, featuring a rising star and a champion on the comeback. It's Naomi Osaka's victory over Czech's Petra Kvitova in last night's Australian Open decider. The result has catapulted Osaka to the top of the women's game.
Ushering in a new era for women's tennis with back-to-back Grand Slams.
Naomi Osaka is the Australian Open champion. She is the new world #1, and she simply has the world at her feet.
The Japanese star proving without doubt her US Open triumph last year was no fluke.
I still feel very shocked. I felt like the match wasn't completely done, but it was done.
Earlier, Osaka had looked on course for a comfortable win.
You can just see how well balanced she was.
But it all started to unravel just as the finish line approached. Osaka going into meltdown mode, 3 championship points quickly disappearing.
The comeback complete for the Czech superstar.
But instead of throwing in the towel, Osaka turned her mind and her game around. She came out firing and broke early in set number 3.
Staggeringly good, given what's unfolded.
I think that if I didn't regroup after the second set, then I would have looked back on this match and probably cried or something.
Instead, she completed a remarkable turnaround to win a second Grand Slam in succession, although the trophy presentation was a bit of a blur.
I forgot to smile. I was told to smile and I didn't.
Easily forgiven when you've provided 2 unforgettable moments in 6 months.
And that ends Trukai Sports for this evening. We take a look at the weather details for the next 24 hours when we return.
True Kai Sports.
Public awareness from IRC, payment due dates for goods and services tax, 21st of the month. Salary and wages tax, 7th of the month. Company income tax, 30 days after notice of assessment. Personal income tax, 30 days after notice of assessment. Stamp duty due on assessment are the withholding taxes on declaration.
Lodge appropriate tax return, which is also due on the due date as the payment date. Payment methods include FPOS. All bank debit cards are accepted at FPOS terminals at our regional centers and provincial offices. Credit cards are not accepted. Bill pay. IRC biller name is Internal Revenue Commission, code 11628. EFT direct payment. Bank credit transfer application, bank check, bank draft. IRC is no longer accepting personal company check payments. You must include your TIN and name, tax being paid, tax period, payment date and amount, your electronic payment receipt. For more information on making tax payments or to obtain copies of your receipts, call 322-6548 or 322-6773 or visit www.irc.gov.pg.
This message is authorized by the Commissioner General, IRC.
What's in fresh noodles? Raspberry,
pineapple,
calamansi, orange,
lemon,
lime, mango, and cola.
What's in fresh noodles? Proudly manufactured and distributed by BTC Industries.
harsh and vibrant landscape, Dulux Weather Shield is the perfect choice to protect your building against everything Mother Nature throws at it. Worth doing, worth Dulux.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
A look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. In the southern region, showers and cloudy weather expected in Port Moresby and Alotau, rain and cloudy weather in Daru and Kerma, rain and thunderstorms in Popondetta. To the Momase region, rain and thunderstorms expected in Leh and Vanimo, rain and showers in Wau, cloudy and showers in Madang, rain and cloudy periods for Wewak. To the New Guinea Islands region, cloudy weather and showers expected in Lorengau, Kokopo and Kimbe, fine becoming cloudy for Buka, rain and cloudy weather for Kavieng. And the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg, all these major centers can expect rain over the next 24 hours with early morning fog developing.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And that's the news, sport and weather for today, Sunday the 27th of January 2019. On behalf of the EMTV News team, have a pleasant working week. Good night.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Paradise Foods and Paradise Beverages.
Returning soon on House and Home.